Hello. Hi, Jana. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so nervous. I'm freaking out. Hey, Misty. Hi, Danny. Will somebody confirm that you can hear what I'm saying? Yay! Hello. Oh, good. Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm going to get started. I was on hold with customer service forever. So I am freaking extremely nervous right now because I have Periscope before, but not an intro class. And I wanted to try something new. And I just watched a video that Rachel Holland did where a suggestion was that if you have a class and it gets canceled or nobody shows up, you should Periscope it. So I was supposed to have a class today, and the hostess decided to cancel. So here we are, Periscoping instead. Bye Danny, thanks. I also realized some of my friends wanted to see, hi Jenny, thank you, how I teach an intro class. So I wanted to give that a shot and share that information a little bit. So I am going to go ahead and get started, and I will do the best that I can. So if I was teaching a live intro class, I would have given everybody one of these to look through while I'm talking, as well as a couple samples for them to keep, and a raffle ticket like this, and have asked that they fill that out. Do you guys see that front ways? Because I see it like it's in a mirror. Can you guys read those? Yes? Awesome. Okay, so here's how I would start. Hi, I'm Jess Bruno. Thank you so much for coming. Before we get started, I want to really quick direct all of your attention to a sheet like this. It's called Say This, Not That. And the reason that I'm showing this to you is because today we are going to talk about essential oils. And essential oils are not a drug. Consequently, are not regulated by the FDA. However, the FDA does own, in a sense, a lot of language related to diagnosing, curing, prescribing, or treating, which is not what I am here to do. I am not a doctor, and essential oils are not a drug. So those kind of statements don't apply to what we're going to talk about today. So the reason I show you this sheet is so that you will get a picture of some of the things I can and will say to you, and some of the things I can't and won't say to you. Feel free to take a close look at the things I can't say, see if that helps you at all. Awesome. So I'm going to start with my story about myself getting started with essential oils. And first I'm going to tell you about how my life used to be without talking about essential oils at all, because some of those terms I'm not sure how to say the right way. And then as we move forward, you'll hear me use a little bit more vague and more compliant terms. So if that's frustrating to you, just know that I'm doing my best to proceed with integrity, and you are welcome to ask any questions that you have, but I will only be able to answer them in a way that's appropriate. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I was experiencing a lot of pain in my ears all the time, and at the time I might have used words like chronic or debilitating when trying to talk to my doctor about it. And so I was an English teacher at the time, and I would spend the whole day with a hot mug to my face talking like this, which was hilarious to the children, and it was the only relief that I could find. By the way, Harry Potter, excellent. I'm a nerd. So, I went to see my primary care physician, and I was asking for help, and his first step was to look in my ears and tell me that there was nothing wrong with them. And I thought, wow, that's so interesting, but they hurt a lot. They're really bothering me, so that can't possibly be right. So he was the kind of doctor that would just prescribe you something. And at the time, I loved that. I could go say something's wrong, and he would give me something. And that's not really my worldview anymore, but at the time, that's what worked. And so he put me on prednisone, which did help my ears, but didn't help anything else in my body. I didn't sleep, I gained weight, and I would attack anyone that was talking to me, Hulk style. So it was really important to me to not be like that for the rest of time and find a different solution. So I got him to refer me to the ear, nose, throat doctor, who said the same thing. I'm looking in your ears and nothing is wrong. And that's right, Bruno smash. So, and again, I thought that's so interesting because I know something is wrong. My body doesn't feel right. and I'm repeatedly being told that something is not wrong. So to make a very lengthy story much shorter, I saw a TMJ physical therapist, a TMJ specialist, ear, nose, throat doctor, got tested for allergies. We came to the conclusion at the end of the day that I had this perfect storm of TMJ and allergies, and my eustachian tubes wouldn't drain, and that is why I was in so much pain. And the two solutions I was presented with were allergy shots for the rest of my life, which I objected to for 3 different reasons. One, I don't really understand how putting something that I'm allergic to into my body is good for me. 2, my father did allergy shots for a really long time and was miserable. And when that same primary care physician looks up my nose, he tells me that my sinuses are identical to my dad's. So I felt like that was a pretty good predictor that it wouldn't work for me. And the third reason was that it was a minimum 3-year commitment, and my job stability was not such that I felt like my insurance could commit to a 3-year regimen. So I didn't want to go that route. The other option was to cut my face open, look around in here, and see what could be done. And I didn't like that option either. I thought that was actually worse. So I felt pretty desperate and ready to try anything in the entire world. Anything at all. And even if it was sort of like witchcraft, voodoo, hippy dippy, whatever. And so essential oils were on my radar, but at the time they were in that category. So if to you it feels like that, I totally understand how you feel. I felt the same way once upon a time. I also was thinking about acupuncture, and I hate needles, so you know that I was desperate if that was something I was going to consider. So that was about 3 Aprils ago. So then fast forward to that August, I went on a trip to Costa Rica on a yoga retreat, which was one of the coolest things I've ever done, yoga on the beach for a week. And everything there was like vegetarian and holistic and lots of essential oils and massage and yoga and all of this. And some of it I was excited about, so it was new to me. And there was a woman there who had a really similar story. Lots of health issues, modern medicine not able to help her. And I'm not anti-doctor or anti-medicine, but I was definitely let down that those things were not able to help me. And so she had a similar story, and she was introduced to essential oils, and her whole life changed. So she was really generous and let us all kind of try hers and play around with them. And they weren't Young Living, but I was able to see like, okay, there's something to this concept. So then I came home and did a ton of research about all the different companies. And it became really clear to me that Young Living was the way to go. And I bought my starter kit from a blogger that I followed, Jenny at Bargain Blessings, and have never looked back. My whole life is different now. So let me talk a little bit about why I picked Young Living, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about the essential oils themselves. So another handout I might have given you, if this was a live class, is this Seed to Seal. And to me, there were several reasons why it was important to pick Young Living, but the Seed to Seal guarantee was the biggest one. Young Living is the only essential oil company that can boast a Seed to Seal guarantee. So they have scientists whose job is specifically to work with the correct seeds, cultivate their growth, work on the distillation, test their oils, have them third-party tested, and seal them in the bottle, send them to your door. So it's interesting because I think something of Seed to Seal that sticks out to most people is the owning their own farms, doing their own pest control above organic standards, which is absolutely important. But to me, what I love to think about most is the distillation process. So if you'll indulge me, I want you to think about making the most perfect cup of coffee. Now, you may or may not be a coffee drinker. I'm actually a tea person myself, but my sister is a barista, so I know enough about making a perfect cup of coffee. So if you think about where you start, you want the best beans possible. They're probably from a certain region of the world. Hopefully they're grown organically, harvested at the right time, not overly ripe or green, right? Then you want them roasted appropriately. They need to be ground at the right size. You know, there's a different depth to which you grind them, right? For a French press versus a home coffee maker, things like that. And then you need the water to be at the right temperature, right? If it's too hot, you're going to burn your coffee and have a bitter taste. If it's not hot enough, it's not really going to steep, and you're going to have a really weak cup of coffee. So in the same way, when you distill an essential oil, you want to use the highest quality plant matter when you start, which is what Young Living focuses on. Harvest that plant material at the same time. So if you think about lavender, they're harvesting at exactly the peak moment, right? Then you want to distill appropriately for that plant matter, the right temperature, the right length of time, and that is exactly what Young Living has focused on. And I really learned this from hearing Gary Young, the founder of the company, speak. You would think, as the owner of the company, that when he speaks to a large group of people with Young Living, that he would talk about money and sales, and I've never heard those words come out of his mouth. What he talks about the whole time is science and his love for people. So when he looks into the science of distilling, he makes sure everything is done exactly according to which type of plant he's using. Okay, so I have one more step in my coffee analogy. You could, if you wanted to, technically make a second cup of coffee through those same grounds. Technically, you'd have a second cup of coffee. However, would it be the same quality as the first cup? I think most of us agree that it wouldn't be. In the same way, you could technically do a second distillation of plant matter and come up with a second batch of essential oil, and like that second cup of coffee, it would not be of the same quality. So for me, what's really key about Young Living is that they're committed to using just that first distillation to create their high-quality essential oils. It would be possible to use a second or even third distillation and create a product that costs less, but it would also be less effective. So for me, that was the biggest way that I knew that Young Living was the right company to go with and that they're worth what you pay for. So that being said, let me tell you a little bit more about essential oils. Essential oils are basically the lifeblood of a plant distilled down to its most concentrated form. So just like you could grab a peppermint plant and use it for its healing or therapeutic properties, you can grab a bottle of peppermint and do the same thing. However, this is going to be much more concentrated and possibly more effective because it's able to work more quickly. But that being said, the only ingredient in this bottle is peppermint. There's 3 main ways that you can use essential oils, and if you're following along in this little book, I've gotten to page 3 here. So the 3 ways that you can use those are aromatically. You might smell them. You can open your bottle and sniff. You can put it in your hand, or you can use a diffuser. I have one going here to pump myself up, but I'm not going to turn the screen and show it to you right now. The last way that you can use them is to ingest them. Now, there are different schools of aromatherapy thought about ingesting and applying topically. Did I say apply topically? That's the 3rd way. So, there are different schools of thought about dilution when applying topically or whether or not you want to ingest them, and I want to encourage you as a critical consumer to do your research and decide what works for you. But both Young Living and myself believe that you can use the oils topically, undiluted if it's your preference, and that you can ingest them safely. And I would only say that about Young Living essential oils. And I personally do make that choice on a daily basis. So let me introduce you to some of my favorites. I'm going to go in the order that they are listed in this book, so we'll start with lavender. Again, if this was a live class, I would be taking off the lids and passing them around for you to smell, and I would even say if you want to give them a try, feel free, although I would warn you that if you're going to try all 11, at some point you'll be overwhelmed and unable to tell what the reaction is. So, lavender is a huge fan favorite. I think it's most notable for its calming and relaxing properties. A lot of people might enjoy using it at nighttime. It's also referred to as the Swiss Army knife of essential oils. If ever you don't know what oil to reach for lavender first. So I love to use lavender at nighttime or maybe in a bath. Any of you guys have a favorite way to use lavender? I just used my lavender mint shampoo right before I got on the scope with you. Okay, so a lot of people love to add a drop to their mascara as well. I personally don't use any mascara, but I've heard awesome things about that. I also want to say that if you guys have any questions about the oils that I'm showing or about how I'm teaching the class, please feel free to ask. I do take questions while I'm teaching a class, even though I know other leaders don't necessarily do that. But my 10 years in a classroom argues that I should, so that's how I approach with a class. Next is peppermint. Peppermint is one of my very favorite oils. Jana, yes, itchy. That's great for that. One time my family was in Florida, and there were a lot of no-see-ums, and I saved my mother and sister's legs and feet with feet. That's a word that an English teacher would use, with lavender. So that's a great idea. All right, I need a drink of water. I just said feet. That's hilarious. Okay, peppermint. So peppermint can be really supportive of your digestive system, and it can be also really uplifting and invigorating. So a lot of people might like to use it to enhance exercise. They might apply it to their head if they want to feel more cool or a little uplifted or invigorated, especially if they have some occasional tension in their head. I like to add a drop of Peppermint Vitality to my water bottle every day. It just gives me a little pep in my step and also supports my finicky digestive system. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use peppermint. I just watched a scope with Alyssa Francis where she put a drop on her thumb and pressed it to the roof of her mouth. And I thought to myself, okay, I've done Young Living for 2 years. I've never tried this, and it's the greatest thing ever. So go catch Alyssa's scope if you haven't seen that. That was amazing. All right, lemon is my next favorite. So also, you guys heard me speak earlier about my occasional respiratory discomfort. And these three together are something that I love to support my respiratory system. So, lemon is great for a lot of different things. I'm sure you guys have seen recently, there's a lot of research about starting your day with a warm glass of water with lemon in it. And I think there's probably a lot to that, and I've always been really hesitant to try it because of the acidity in lemon or lemon juice. And I'm really careful to protect my teeth in that way. So I started doing it with a drop of lemon essential oil because the lemon essential oil is hard pressed from the rind of the fruit, so there is no acidity associated with the essential oil the way that there would be with the original fruit. Leanne, I ingest these three on a daily basis along with Copaiba, but I know a lot of people put them in the diffuser or make a roller ball that they might use around wherever they're having their discomfort, but I ingest them. So I've been adding it to my water. I'm pretty sure Jana adds it to her water every day as well, and has found that to really support a lot of her systems in her body. You're welcome, Leanne. You can also clean with lemon essential oil, which is really cool. I made a cleaner with baking soda, Castile soap, some Thieves household cleaner, and lemon and Thieves oil. And my husband actually does most of the deep cleaning in our house, and I really thought it was going to be a huge issue to ask him to switch away from his typical cleaning products, and he loves that mix that I made. So that's something that's awesome. Or also, if I have sticky residue, instead of reaching for a chemical cleaning product, the lemon essential oil will take care of that. In fact, we are in the middle of hanging up a gallery wall in our living room, and some of the frames that we got have gunk on them, and we're about to attack them with lemon oil. So, everybody hanging in? Good. All right, so frankincense is the next oil I want to talk about. I have a really dear friend, Gloria, who is also building this business with me. And every single time we talk about frankincense, she goes, "Frank, he makes no sense." It's hilarious the way she says it every single time. So there are two things that I really love about frankincense. It is really sort of grounding and stabilizing and will bring balance to your mood or to your emotions. And in that way, it can really be used to complement a time of prayer or a time of meditation. So I'm in the middle of becoming a yoga teacher, and I love to incorporate it into my yoga practice. I've started putting a drop on the top of each of my feet, and then I get to kind of smell it anytime I do like a forward fold or a downward dog. And that's pretty cool. The other thing is that it is amazing for supporting the appearance of youthful skin. So I mix it into my moisturizer every day, and I use the Art moisturizer that comes from Young Living. So that's one of my favorite things about frankincense. A lot of people, of course, recognize it from The Christmas Story. So you can just tell how important it is based on that as well. This is going so much faster than it does with real people. This is awesome. Okay. RC. RC is fantastic. This is a blend of 3 different types of eucalyptus as well as a handful of other oils from Young Living. And RC is fantastic for supporting your respiratory system. So a lot of people use it to enhance a workout or a time of exercise. I like to rub it on my chest, maybe with some coconut oil to support my respiratory system, especially if it needs some support. I know Misty cannot live without RC in her house. Is that right? Okay, so that is the most notable use of RC. I try to always diffuse something in my bedroom at night to support our respiratory systems while we sleep, and RC is one of the ones in my rotation. It's not the only one that I use, but it's a favorite. Right now I'm on myrtle and frankincense because we also needed a little bit of mood stabilizing support in the evenings right now. We're in a weird, stressful time at the moment. Okay, so Copaiba. This is one of my favorites. It took me a really long time to learn how to say it. Copaiba. And I actually use this, Leanne, to address your question with my lavender, lemon, peppermint to support my respiratory system. So those are the 4 that I use together. Copaiba has a really, really nice, subtle, woodsy aroma. And it's tapped from a tree, kind of like how we would all recognize maple syrup. And it can just support wellness in your body in a handful of different ways. It's known as an enhancer, so if you use it with other essential oils, whatever effect they are giving you, somebody loves Copaiba, or they love me, I don't know, but there's a ton of hearts right now. It's fantastic. It will enhance whatever oil you're using it with, so you can get a little bit better or deeper of support by using it. It's funny because this book talks about adding it to a lot of your, yay, thanks guys. I have the best downline in the entire world. This talks about adding it to your drink or to ingest it, and I do it with lavender, lemon, and peppermint, but I've never done it on its own. So I always think it's interesting when there's different suggestions and how I normally use it. We can all learn something new every day. One thing that it says is that it's a key ingredient in this little beauty right here. So this is my favorite oil of all time. If I could only use one essential oil for the rest of my life, it would be this one. Me and this baby on a desert island, for sure. So Deep Relief is great for anytime you just have like tense or sore or tired muscles that need a little support. So I use this right here to support those same respiratory issues that I was telling you about earlier. So this is one I can't live without, and Copaiba is a huge part of it, right? Alicia, I think everyone loves it, which is why it's on a 1 per person per month basis right now, or out of stock. I'd rather have it be limited than out of stock. All right, next up is Purification. So this is an awesome essential oil. It's also a blend made of citronella, rosemary, lemongrass, lavandin, tea tree, and myrtle. And what most people smell right away when they smell it is the citronella and the lemongrass. And it is a little bit self-explanatory. It has a really purifying, cleaning sort of smell. Not in a chemically clean way, but like a fresh, yum, clean house, springtime sort of way. So I love bacon, which is super contradictory to my current yoga teacher training. But we cook bacon a lot, and I have a super open floor plan. I have a raised ranch home, so everything's on one floor, and the kitchen, living room, dining room are all open, and then there's a hallway that funnels to all the bedrooms. And when we cook bacon, at first it's like, yes, you can smell it, but then at a certain point in time, you're like, okay, we're done. We need to get rid of the smell. And diffusing purification is one of the best ways that we can handle that in our house. So that's one of my favorite uses for it. I know a lot of people can make a spray out of it. Get a spray bottle, fill it with water, a couple drops of purification, and actually a pinch of salt to help it emulsify, because we know that oil and water don't mix. So a pinch of salt will help it mix. And then you can use it. I know, Misty, I always try to tell it, like, you don't cover the bacon smell for a long time, but then at some point you have to, right? So you can make a spray with this, and this is something you could use to spray in your air or on fabrics that you can't throw in the washing machine or something like that. If you have stinky teenagers, cover them with that. The other thing I love about purification is that it can be a great deterrent for pests, especially when you're outside and you'd like to enjoy the outdoors annoyance-free. So my backyard, actually maybe I can show you out the window right here. Ooh, tricky. Okay, see how it's all woods? Can you guys see that at all? It's all woods back there. And yes, purification in shoes, for sure. So our backyard's all woods, and when we do any kind of spring cleaning, it's a little bit dangerous because of all the pests that are out there. We have a lot of deer, and deer bring little friends that live on their hides. And the first spring that we cleaned, we were both covered in little pests that we were concerned about giving us health ailments. And so this past spring, almost a year ago now, right, because it's almost spring again, we made a spray with purification and just saturated ourselves before we went outside, and we were able to do all of our yard cleaning without any concern about getting bit by little critters that would make us sick for the rest of our lives. So that is awesome. Yes, Misty, you can see, right? Thank you for naming the pest that I've been trying not to name because I didn't know if it was compliant. I love having guests in class that say the things that I'm alluding to. Okay. Any questions about anything so far? Should I keep going? All right. Panaway. Woohoo! Panaway. Huge fan favorite. So let me tell you my favorite story about Panaway. My poor husband. I'm going to throw him under the bus. So Panaway is great for supporting sore, tired, achy muscles. And it'll just give a great uplifting feeling, soothing, that kind of thing. I always apply it topically. I have never diffused Panaway, but I know people that do because they think it smells like root beer, which I guess I see, but I don't really. I just smell the wintergreen. And you can also see the childproof cap indicates that it's not one that you would ingest. But okay, so my husband is an Iraq veteran, and when he was in Iraq, there was very little to do to entertain themselves other than eat, watch movies, or go and work out. So he started working out with the medic in his unit, and this guy, Dave, was a bodybuilder, so Travis was following along with his routine. So Trav came home from Iraq in bodybuilder-like condition. Wonderful. So 8 years later, he is not currently in bodybuilder condition, which is totally fine. But he got it in his head over the summer that he'd like to go to the gym and get back into better shape. And he took his workout journal from when he was in Iraq and lifting with a bodybuilder and went to the Y and picked up right where he left off. So he came home from the gym and he was like, yes, I'm a beast. Ah! And then he could not move at all, starting that night and for like several days afterwards. Could not move at all. So I covered him in Panaway, totally covered him in Panaway. And what was really cool is he was able to get off the couch and move around and function again. The Panaway did not take away his whining, but it did enable him to move again after overworking out. So that's my favorite story about Panaway. All right, another blend beloved by fans of Young Living, Thieves. So Thieves is most notable for, you guys like that story? Or you like Thieves? Thieves is most notable for being a great way to support your immune system. And I think a great way to remember that is the story of how it got its name, Thieves. So I don't know if this is true at all, but the story goes that there's a group of grave robbers during the time of the bubonic plague, and they would rob the graves of plague victims and somehow not get the plague. So when they were caught, they were given a more lenient sentence, right, Misty? No one can live without it. When they were caught, they were given a more lenient sentence for sharing this recipe that had protected them, and thus Thieves was born. So Thieves is a blend made of clove, lemon, cinnamon bark, eucalyptus, and rosemary. And so that story, I don't know if it's true, but I think it really illustrates that it's so good for immune support. So I was a school teacher for 10 years. And before I was into essential oils, I would get sick at least like once a month. Have to be out of school, especially right when you go back or when all the kids are sick. And once I got into essential oils, I started putting Thieves on the bottom of my feet every day before I put on my socks and shoes and went to school. And I went from being out maybe once a month to being out one time during the whole school year. So for me, that was really, really key. Yes, it makes an amazing Thieves tea if you use Thieves and lemon vitality oils. So you can get a coffee mug, put a dollop of honey in the bottom. Every time I say dollop, my husband's like, that's a scientific amount. Dollop of of honey in the bottom of the teacup. Hot, like boiling water. Then once it cools to where you could drink it, drop of Thieves, 2 or 3 drops of lemon. Delicious, supports your immune system, nice way to unwind at the end of the day. And then, of course, Young Living has made an entire line of products based on the Thieves essential oil for cleaning and maintaining the health of your household. So Thieves Household Cleaner is a huge fan favorite, but they've also come out with dish soap, laundry soap, fruit and veggie soak, toothpaste, mouthwash, all kinds of things, all of which I love and use. Awesome. Good, Alicia. I'm so glad. And Misty, yes. What's up? Okay, 2 oils left. Digest is a very, very, very favorite of mine. I am lactose intolerant, but I can't stop eating cheese. So Digize is one of my best friends. So Digize is an oil that supports your digestive system, as its name suggests. And so one way that you can use it is if you have Digize Vitality, you can ingest it. And it's really funny because this book says to put a couple drops in a glass of water, and I cannot imagine anybody enjoying that. So I actually don't recommend that you do it that way. I would put it in a capsule or rub it on your abdomen to support a digestive system that's in need of support. And I also have occasionally put a drop under my tongue, but I have a pretty high tolerance for like that kind of thing. My mom tried that, and she was like, my mouth is exploding! She did feel better afterwards, though. So I'm going to share a story with you that's a little bit, it's almost too much information, but I think people appreciate what it illustrates. So yeah, Jana, I can handle that too, but some people can't. My husband would never do that. One of the times, I got sick 2 times last school year. I still think by school year. And one time was a sinus infection, and one time was food poisoning. So, I had the food poisoning, and I wasn't sure yet if it was that or if it was the flu or like what was wrong with me, but I was throwing up like every hour and a half on the hour and a half. So I would throw up, and then I would have like a half an hour window where I felt good enough to work on sub-plans, and then I'd have to deteriorate and do it again. And I knew I couldn't possibly like ingest anything at the time because I felt so sick, but I was like, I do just want to like feel better until it's light outside and I can go to the doctor. And so I put Digize all over my abdomen, and because it was food poisoning, it didn't really do a whole lot to lessen what was going on. But the next time that I threw up, all I could taste was the Digize, which that's the too much information part. But what it really serves to illustrate, I think, is how you can apply it topically, and it still absorbs in and gets used where it needs to be used. So that's what's really neat about how quickly and easily it can permeate your body and go where it needs to go to support you. So that's what I love about Digize. All right, the last oil I want to share with you, right? Isn't that interesting? I was like, that's weird. I also tried to put a drop of peppermint under my tongue at the time to try to make my mouth be less gross. But in the wee dark of 2 a.m., all the green bottles look the same. So I put oregano under my tongue. Don't ever do that. Make sure you have peppermint if you're going to do that. Oh, that was terrible. Okay, so Stress Away is the bonus oil because you can see right here that if we're looking at the premium starter kit, we've just talked about these 10. So Stress Away is the bonus oil, right? And I know, Misty, it was horrific. It was the worst thing ever. Don't ever do it. It's a funny story to tell now in classes, and I tell it every time, but don't do it. Okay, so the name of Stress Away is pretty self-explanatory, right? So this can support you when you're feeling normal stresses in your life and sort of alleviate that a little bit. A lot of people like to put a roller ball on top of it. The ingredients are copaiba, lime, cedarwood, vanilla, octea, and lavender. Now, I actually don't love it by itself, but I do blend it together with a couple of other oils to make a blend that helps me kind of just calm down and turn my brain off at night. So it's great for that. Now, if I was doing a class, I would probably take a minute to talk about Ningxia Red. Sometimes I give samples to taste, and sometimes I don't. It kind of depends on the audience. So I just did a couple classes the other day where I did not because it was too big or it was at a school and it was too fast. But I'm going to do one next week for my friends that are going through yoga teacher training with me, and I will do it with them. So Ningxia Red is one of... Look at all the hearts. I'm like Misty right now. I was going to freak out on hearts. So Ningxia Red is a great supplement from Young Living that you can take every day. So this is a 2-ounce pouch, and it also comes in a big 25-ounce bottle. And the recommended dose is 1 to 2 ounces a day. Good luck to you keeping yourself to that amount of a dose. Rachel, good for parents. Which one? Stress Away? I'm betting is what you're talking about rather than Ningxia Red, although they both are. So the biggest thing for me with Ningxia Red is that it evens out like my level of energy. I used to kind of peak at 3 p.m. every day and stop functioning, especially as a school teacher at the end of the school day. And so for me, I know, right, Misty? No, I stocked up and I put myself in timeout for a long time, and then I've been using my 2-ounce shot glass and been like, no, just stick to it. Although the other day I poured a shot for me and for Travis, and then he didn't want his, and I was like, yes, double shots for me. So it's made from Ningxia wolfberries, and they have a pretty high level of antioxidants, one of the highest in the world. And so this is great for supporting all of your bodily systems. I have a lot of friends, maybe who are even on the scope. No problem, Rach. No big deal. A lot of people who use it to support eye health, something that I love as well. And it never occurred to me that that could be happening in my body until someone suggested to me that that's why they use it. But that made me happy to know, to suggest to some other people, including my younger brother. So it's great for supporting normal cellular function, overall health and wellness, eye health, oxidative stress, and it says right on here, energize, fortify, revitalize, and I think that that's really the calling card. Like if you're looking for a consistent level of energy that really truly lasts in your life and throughout your day, this is the way to go. A lot of people ask me like, oh no, will it keep me up at night? It's not like an energy drink like that. I could drink this at night and not have a problem sleeping, and I'm someone who might often have trouble sleeping. So yeah, strong hair and nails. But there's a version called Ningxia Nitro, which is more of the like immediate energy, might replace caffeine kind of thing. So I would be careful about when you drink that. But for me, this is not a problem. So those are all of the items in our booklet and all of the items in the starter kit. So this is where I'm going to show you how I close a class. So I shared with you a ton of oils tonight. And if you are wondering how you can get your hands on Young Living essential oils, there's basically two ways that you can do it. You can create what's called a retail account and buy just a couple of things. Let's say you just want peppermint or you want to give it a try. You're not ready to buy a lot. You're not totally sold yet. That's totally fine. You're welcome to create a retail account just like you would create an account to order through Amazon or Staples Online or Target Online, whatever. You create your username and password, your account, and you would be a retail customer. So you could buy whatever you like, whenever you like, with no obligation, but you would pay full retail value, which is 24% higher than the wholesale value. If you're interested in that deal and a much bigger bang for your buck, you can get what's called the starter kit, which comes in a beautiful box like this. It also includes a diffuser, which I would normally show, but I'm not going to just for the sake of the scope. So you can get a Young Living starter kit, which comes with all of the oils that we just talked about together. So these 10 plus the bonus Stress Away, a couple of samples of Ningxia Red, and then a bunch of other samples and literature. And I always say with those little samples, you can either start to share those with your friends or you can hoard them for yourself, which is what I sometimes would do. So if you joined as a retail customer, you could get these individually for yourself, but you'd pay a little bit more. These 10 together might be in the range of $170. However, you can get these 10 plus, logistics here, right? Plus the Stress Away samples, etc. for $160 with the diffuser. So you can see that in terms of bang for your buck, the premium starter kit is the way to go. The other reason that it's such a great idea to start with a premium starter kit is that something that I learned through the people that I work with essential oils is it's really great to pay it forward and support the people who, got a notification there, who are buying oils with you or from you and want to learn more about them. It is totally believable that this would arrive at your house and you would think to yourself, oh my God, I don't remember what I was going to do with any of those oils. And so what I love to do is send you a welcome package that includes a 400-page spiral bound reference book where you can look up anything you might be going through or wanting to address or support in your life, and it would give you suggestions about how to do that. And I think that's really important so that you can start to empower yourself and learn about what you want to do. Now, this isn't for real right now, but I would usually say something like, if you're ready to get started with your kit tonight, I have an extra bonus for you. I'll be sending you home with a Thieves spray, or I might do a Thieves cleaner, a 5 milliliter oil of your choice, whatever, a bonus for if you want to go home with your kit tonight. And I have a couple of extra kits with me if any of you feel like you need to take it home tonight, and then we can ship yours to me and you can take this one home. However, if you're not ready tonight, I totally understand. I thought about it for like a year before I bought an essential oil starter kit. So I want you to know that my offer of a reference book with your starter kit always stands. Doesn't have to be right now. However, if you'd like this bonus, that is tonight only. In addition, because it's February and Young Living is awesome, this starter kit is currently 10% off. So what would normally be $160 is on sale for $144. So I would love to give you all an opportunity to check out the product catalog or speak with me personally. I've got my computer ready to go. If any of you are ready to sign up, just let me know and I will help you get started. Thank you so much. So that's how I would close my class. Okay, I think we're done. Oh my God, does anyone have any questions about what I just said or did? Anything I left out? Any glaring errors in my approach? Yay, Jana, you liked it? Thank you, Alicia. Alicia, did you come to us by way of Jennifer O'Donnell? Oh, my gosh. Hey, Amanda. Sorry. I'm glad you're here. Excellent. Okay, cool. So I just wanted to share with you guys how I do an intro class. And, yeah, feel free to, steal that and use it with your people or whatever. And I think I have a Catch Me account, and hopefully this just went there, but if not, I'll try to figure out how to save it, and I will post the replay and stuff. So awesome, guys. Thank you so much. There was only like 5 of you, and it made it like 5 people that I love. So this was as not terrifying as I thought it was going to be. So awesome. First one is done. I could do it again in the future. So, all right, guys, I'm going to sign off because at 3 o'clock, I'm going to do a Google Hangout with a lot of you, my builders, and I will see you in a few, okay? Bye, guys. Thanks, Jana. Love you.